and acknowledgement of country. We're on Wanneroo land. We want to just pay our respects to the beautiful people, the Wanneroo people of this place where we create, we live, we play, we work in business sometimes and in government and in NGOs. So paying respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and anyone who's a First Nations person here. So I'm Megan Hills. I created the Creative Ingredient back in 2018. It's a creative and cultural consultancy. I'm known as a strategic planner, bit of a graphic designer, but I create a lot of pitch documents that have the creative element to them to get that full engagement. And I work a lot with First Nations people in terms of community consultation for better project partnerships, and also public art, project management, a few things. So I'm going to be talking a bit today as how to engage creative talent into your business or government project. So that's sort of bringing a creative from outside into your team. Kathy Langlade, who is an artist and a facilitator of the amazing Brainwave workshops, is going to do a little facilitation of an exercise that's going to change your brain for the better, tapping into that right brain gorgeousness of gold. And so when people say that they're not creative, Kathy will prove the opposite. And then we've got the amazing Alex Wegner, who is an illustrator, animator and graphic recordist. And if you're not familiar with graphic recording, she's doing it right now, which is creating an image that has some images and also some keywords to reflect what's being discussed live. And she's going to talk more about that very soon. Okay, so there are 3 common reasons as to why creativity is important in business and government, and they are as follows. It genuinely innovates thinking, it brings your team closer together, and it enhances communication with stakeholders and community. Have you heard these already? They're reasons often cited, but the next question is it true? Well, Harvard Business School thinks so. Here they say creativity serves several purposes. It not only combats stagnation, but also facilitates growth and innovation. Entrepreneur thinks so. They say creativity is essential to getting your new business started in a winning position. New, unique and innovative ideas to keep customers engaged. Harvard Business Review has also chimed in on this, saying creativity is essential to the entrepreneurship of getting new business started, and that sustains the best companies after they've reached global scale. Forbes thinks it's important. E-learning industry thinks it's important. McKinsey Quarterly also thinks it's important. It just keeps going on. But what I find really interesting about this little snippet is the following. Creativity drives innovation and growth, but is it reserved for the lucky few? Reserved for the lucky few? At Creative Ingredient, we don't think so. In fact, we know everyone has the capacity to be creative, and we know how your team can tap into theirs. And we have expert creatives to facilitate engagement with your stakeholders and community. Yes, you can be a part of all this, and it doesn't have to cost a bomb either. But what I thought was really interesting was the part here, creativity drives innovation and growth. So a lot of people think that creativity and innovation are kind of much of a muchness, but they're not. It's actually creativity that comes first, and then the innovation and growth extends from there. And that's really exciting. And then the next question is, how do we do this? And I know that there are 2 questions that are really being asked by people in government and business, which is, how long is this going to take? And more importantly again, how much is it going to cost? So I think these are tough times in business for a lot of us, and I think that's a reasonable thing. Everyone's got KPIs, everyone's got timeframes, everyone's got limited budgets. So how do we actually make the most of this with what we've got? And this is where Creative Ingredient is a specialist in the field of working to very pragmatic timeframes. And so when we talk about creative ingredient on our website, the first thing you see is that we tap into real problems. And so we're highly pragmatic. So people think that creativity and pragmatism are two different worlds. No, they are not. They work very well together. So what we do is that we try to attract creatives who can do two very particular things, because there are creatives that are very good at working in the studio and having possibly exhibitions, but we're looking for a bit more than that at Creative Ingredient. We're looking at creatives that can work to a brief and creatives that can work with a team. This is what is important for us. And so what we've done on our website, you'll see that there's actually two groups of people. There's the Creatives Directory and our team. But I'm going to take you through the Creatives Directory first. I haven't gone live with this because I've just done screenshots just to give you a glimpse of what's there. There's a lot more, so I highly recommend that you hop on to the internet and check out creativeingredient.com.au, and you'll see the whole amazing gamut of creatives that we have here. So you'll see there's Kathy Langlade at the top there, who's going to be speaking soon about brainwave. There's Alex Wegner there, who does the graphic recording and beyond. Ali Sobel-Reed on the right is an amazing ceramicist who creates incredible platters, small plates, mugs, amazing array of corporate gifts where you can have your logo on there, but you can also have an image, whether it's a graphic or a photographic image that represents your business. And then she boxes them up in the most beautiful packaging, which can also have your logo on it and be presented to people that you're really wanting to engage with, people that you really want to thank and to grow a relationship with. So it's an incredible corporate gift service that she presents, and everything is handmade, which makes it extra special. We also have Julie Squires, that was underneath that, who's an amazing public artist. We have on the top right Sheree Johnson, an Aboriginal woman who does amazing cultural training. We also have underneath Sheree the amazing Helen Hopcroft, who's here today, who again is incredibly creative in so many ways, but we do promote her as a visual artist here who does extraordinary murals, incredible workshops. She's also an amazing writer and theatre producer, so pretty much whatever you need going. She's got very pragmatic but incredibly imaginative, creative ideas around how to get message making out into your target market and into the community. I could go on. There's Benji from Earthen Rhythms, who does amazing drumming circles, which sounds very simple, but it's actually, you need a particular facilitator who understands how to bring your team together, and he goes into businesses and works with what's going on in the business to get people being more in rhythm with one another. So I'll keep going on. There's Margot there, who's also here today, who can work to a brief with a team. Incredibly pragmatic, incredibly imaginative. So I'll just keep going. It's just enough to give you a taster anyway. I would love you to explore this on your own. So as I said, there's another group. It's called Our Team. So let's just press the space bar again. You'll see me there as a project strategist and designer. I also do a myriad of other things. If you click through to more, you'll see also on the Creatives Directory you can click through to more, and every creative has their own page. And importantly, with every creative, they've got their own contact details. So there's no need to actually contact me if you want to contact a creative directly and work directly with them. We totally encourage that. But when it comes to bigger projects for us, where we might bring in a few creatives in to do a specific project, that's why the Creatives Directory is really important for us, to have these people and have those relationships already established. So we have, if you go through the list again, we've got community consultation experts, we've got urban planning experts, we've got event curators, place activation experts. The list goes on. Spacebar again, thank you. We've got community access experts, but up there on the left, oh, can we quit that? On the left, you'll see Peter's lovely face, who is our AV magician who not only does audio-visual but does the most amazing virtual tours. He also works in holograms, he has drones. The man can do pretty much anything you want digitally. He's a genius and a creative in his own right. So highly recommend checking out Peter. His business is AVSupport. We also have Cherie Johnson again, our Aboriginal cultural consultant. Brenda Madden, who does amazing workshops and facilitation with community to get feedback from them as to what they're wanting, and so you can design your project to fit those needs. Christopher Saunders is very well known as the man at the helm of Renew Newcastle, and Tom Gray, Public Art. So that just gives you a little bit of an overview. When it comes to business, government and NGOs as well, let's just click. There's a series of questions that you can ask. I think we'll just keep scooting through these ones. I won't read them out, but you'll see these are the areas that we help with business and government directly, about making spaces useful, about engaging with your target market and with community more effectively. So let's keep going, and we'll just scoot through and talk a little bit about projects. A little taster as to what we've done in the past. So we've done recently the cultural plan for the Dungog Shire. We've done the community consultation for Gregson Park in Hamilton in Newcastle. We did an amazing conference in 2019 working with an Aboriginal organisation called Miramar here in the Hunter, but the actual conference was in Darwin that is called Pullamar, which is an Aboriginal Languages and Technology Conference. They have it every second year. They had a maximum of 200 people come to this thing. When we ran it, we rebranded, we did a media pack, we did a sponsorship pack, we did a lot of creative consultancy to have amazing workshops and demonstrations at the event, and so we managed to raise the delegation number from 200 to 600. It was an amazing success, with amazing media coverage. We've also done community reference group consultation, quite a few of those for the Newcastle Council, consultation on behalf of Lake Mac Council in Windale, Mildura, we did a place activation strategy on behalf of GHD, and public art, we did several public art projects at Wyong Hospital. Again, one of those projects was listed for the New South Wales Premier's Award for Community Engagement, and I'll be happy to talk about that at another time when we have more time. So we'll just keep going. Thanks, Jeff. And I'm going to hand over the reins to Kathy now.
Testing, yes. Hello. So, is Jeff going to be our person?
Yes,
I'll give it a try. Okay, so I'll be talking about creativity in the workplace, but before I talk about that, let's just remind ourselves what creativity actually means. So I should have highlighted the words, but all you need to remember is imagination and ideas. That's pretty much what creativity is. Thinking from your imagination, coming up with great new ideas. I love this quote by Albert Einstein saying logic will take you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. And he was a big advocate of creativity, even though he was a scientist. I get my ideas from a lot of pop culture sources, so movies, TV shows. I watch a lot of those on Netflix while I'm painting. So if you can do two things at once, you can get ideas and paint at the same time. I follow a lot of Instagram accounts by other artists, and just in the community, just walking around, seeing different things in shops, you get inspiration and ideas. So, next one.
Right.
Yep. So Megan touched a bit on this with why do we need creativity in our workplaces? So Alex is going to illustrate some of these points, but basically the world is full of problems, workplaces are full of problems. Creativity is something that helps you solve problems. And when I create artworks, certainly I'm problem solving all the time. Like, how do I make this look like what I want it from my head onto the paper, that sort of thing. Now, there's been a lot of talk about artificial intelligence and that taking over the world. Well, AI can help solve some problems, but there's still a lot of stuff that requires human emotions and for us to solve problems. So I don't think you should be too scared that AI is going to take over the world. So creativity is also contagious. It inspires. So an example of this is I work in a science-based job in my day job, and recently we had like a staff development day, and we had to dress up in costumes, and most people in my team have never engaged in creative exercises. But just doing that, like coming up with costume ideas, that really inspired everyone and got everyone excited. And so things like that in the workplace can help. And basically to get ownership, I think a lot of workplaces, managers and leaders, they're the ones that make all the decisions, and you feel like you're just a staff member. But certainly when the whole workplace gets creative, everyone owns their own work. The creativity attracts employees and retains employees. You spend a third of your day working at a workplace or working, you want to have some fun. I think everyone agrees we want to be in a fun workplace. So this is from Kate Poon from a LinkedIn article I got, so I'll share the link later. So problem solving, I just want to say that one way we can problem solve, it's the really old-fashioned way of brainstorming, which, and this is just a quick cartoon. I love Dilbert. If you don't know Dilbert, it's still the best workplace cartoons around. And this basically just goes through, they're going to do some brainstorming, and someone's come up with a really outrageous idea, and then staff members are like, don't judge, don't judge. So basically, brainstorming is to encourage all ideas. No idea is ridiculous. So that's, yeah, can we go? So we're going to solve a problem in the group here now. So this is called the hamburger problem. Now, this is, I guess, in the workplace lunchroom, and that's probably where we solve some of our world problems, in the lunchroom. So I want you to think of the big, juicy hamburgers we get at the takeaway shop, the old-fashioned ones with the beetroot, the pineapple, the dripping egg, the big meat patty, and it's all, quite messy. So think of that. Now, even if you don't eat hamburgers, maybe think of someone else that you've seen. How do you solve the problem of stopping the contents from falling out? So just maybe if you can just give me some ideas verbally. Just tell me, how would you personally stop the contents from falling out? What have you done in your personal lives eating a hamburger?
I pull it apart and eat it with a knife and fork.
Okay, pull it apart and eat it with a knife and fork. I have seen people do that. Yep. It's sort of like, it feels like, does it taste the same? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd wrap it up in a napkin to try and hold it together.
Wrap it up in a napkin. There's another idea. Anyone else who does anything differently then?
Try and get your mouth around it as much as you can.
Yes, that helps if you've got a big mouth. Some people who don't have big mouths, that might be a hard one, but yes, that is another option. That is another.
It just takes practice, doesn't it, Margot?
Sliders now, those small
Oh, sliders, you can, yes. Yeah, they've come up with sliders. That's a solution to a problem. That's a good one. Yeah, and any other ideas about, yes?
I'd eat it and enjoy it, but before I started, I'd make sure I had a napkin or a basin nearby.
A basin.
Basin. I love that.
Yes, you can have some props, something to collect the contents so that you can probably still enjoy, yes?
Invent an accessory of a recyclable smock that you can wear to eat hamburgers.
Okay. Yes, yes.
Totally biodegradable. You can put it in the compost bin with remnants of the hamburger afterwards.
Yes, that would
brilliant.
help with the juices. Yes.
She's really thought that through.
Yes, so these are good ways of preventing you getting stains on your clothes as well. So yeah, there's some good ideas. So some other ideas that I found, where are they? Next page. So some other ideas are cut the burger in half, which I think was the knife and fork idea. Eat as an open burger, which is similar to that, and press down the bun to compact it, the fillings. That's another way you could do it. So can I just get the next slide? So one of the solutions on Google is turn the hamburger upside down. So I don't know if I've seen someone do that and turn it upside down. I don't know if you have, but that's one way, because I think the bun at the top is a different shape and usually a little larger, and it can help contain the content. So I think when you're in the moment, you may not think of that. You might not think, oh, I've got to turn this upside down. But if you are a burger eater and it's always a problem, try that next time, because that might work. So this is just, brainstorming is just one way of getting the creative juices flowing, coming up with ideas. So it's something that we've probably done in some point of our lives, is the Yes, next, can I get the next one? So another way that we would solve problems in the workplace is to try to do things differently. So everyone's got a clipboard with a piece of paper and there's a pen there. If I can get you to grab your clipboards and your pieces, you've got a piece of paper and there's a pen just on the top there. If you can grab that out of the clip section or use your own pen, that doesn't matter. So everyone's got their pens. So now I'd like you to swap hands. So you're basically going to be drawing with your non-dominant hand. So the reason so my book called Brainwave's got a whole heap of exercises. This is the first exercise in the book, and this is the easiest one to do in this setting, so that's why we're doing this. So basically, I forgot my other props. But I might just say, no, I won't use the props, I'll just say it out loud. Yeah. So this exercise, basically, I will tell you a letter, and then the first thing that pops into your head, that's what you will draw with your non-dominant hand, okay? So the first letter will be P. P. P for Peter. Yes, Peter. And so the very first thing that pops in your head, don't think about it too hard, just draw that with your non-dominant hand. If you're a very quick drawer or you drew something very simple and you're waiting, you can write the word of the object you've drawn. Because maybe when you look back at this next week, you might look at, well, what was that I drew? Because it doesn't look anything like the peach, whatever. And normally in my workshops, I'd walk around and see how many platypuses there are, how many pineapples, how many peaches, because there's often people will draw similar things because that's the first thing they've thought of. Sometimes we get really weird, wacky things. So the next letter is K. So the first thing that pops in your mind that starts with the letter K, draw that. All right, and the next one is T. T for Trevor. I'll just do a couple more. So the other thing about using your non-dominant hand, which we don't do much of in our everyday lives, and if you want to do more of it, just try brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. That's one way you can practice. And I'll just give you the next letter, which will be L. L for Lucy. And the other benefit of this exercise is that you might have noticed that your lines are quite wobbly if you're not used to drawing with your non-dominant hand, and that's something when you were a child and you weren't holding your pen maybe like you do now, your lines are going to be a bit more wobbly. Okay, we'll just do one last one, W.
Yeah, have to think about that.
Yes. And sometimes people think, you might think of the first thing that's really difficult might be which or something. I don't want to draw that. You can change your mind. No one knows because it's in your mind. So that's all good. No one's going to even know. Okay, and when you've done that, sorry, Margot, I'll just get you to do the next. I'll try the clicker. Oh, no,
it actually worked, eh?
It worked. So just so you're doing these exercises, you're thinking, well, what's the other benefit? Well, it's taking you back to your childhood. So this is a quote by Pablo Picasso, a very famous one, where he says, it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to draw like a child. Because if you think about it, the drawings you do now are probably nothing like you did when you were a child, when you were carefree. And when you're a child, you use your imagination. So doing exercises that I'll show you in a minute from my book, a lot of them are going back into your childhood and doing things that you haven't done for many years. And it's good to go back and do, even playing childhood games and things you haven't done for a long, long time is useful to get that imagination going.
Not yet.
I'll do it.
Yes.
Yes, please. So it's a segue into my book called Brainwave, which there's a few copies out in the shop. So it is a collection of exercises that use all parts of your brain, get your neural pathways going. So there's so in my workshops, so usually I do a two-handed exercise, so using two hands at the same time, upside down drawing. Some of those you would be familiar with, and there's a heap of exercises in there that I've made up myself that aren't available anywhere. So it's just a complete collection of exercises. And I have done workshops in various industries. What's so good about it? Yep, well, it's a collection of exercises you won't find anywhere else in the world. And it won the International Book Prize, so finalist, sorry, it was a finalist. So this is, yes, I have done workshops with NDIS NDIS organisations, teacher librarians, libraries, community groups around in Lake Mac, the Hunter. And there's just one feedback from Western Mission that they were keen to use the skills because the NDIS is a big industry, and there's a lot of need for these sort of activities with clients. So, and that's just my website, and that's just another Cape Poon from the same lady that I got the other points from. Creative thinkers feel like empowered active participants rather than a cog in a machine, and this leads to creativity and innovation, exactly what Megan was saying. And yes, so that's just a taste of what's in my book. So if you're interested, you can have a look at the book out in the shop, and my website's got other bits and pieces. But thank you. Yeah, I think it's Alex's turn now. Hi.
Hi everybody, I am Alex Wegner. This is my company, Sketch It Live, company, business. I work in the area of graphic recording. I also do animation and illustration. I did graphic design a million years ago and sort of moved into this business because I just thought, oh wow, how fun, just draw all the time. That's a pretty good job. Can't believe people pay you to do that. Graphic recording is really good for capturing the gist of a meeting or a presentation or a workshop, like a strategizing workshop. It's not so good for capturing a whole lot of small detail, but if you just want the overall idea of what's going on, then graphic recording is good for that because it engages people. Oh, actually, next slide, please. Yeah, this is what graphic recording is. The main reason why it's good is because people are engaged and they understand. They're more likely to understand what's going on if they can see visuals happening in real time, because then they can connect with it emotionally. You know, a picture says 1,000 words. And they're more likely to remember what has happened if they've been watching somebody draw it as well. And then you get to keep the image as like an artifact, so you can refer back to that afterwards and it will spark memories. Oh yeah, I remember seeing, hearing Kathy saying, oh, who cares what's going on in your mind? Nobody will know. I remember that, and it will, it will bring back those memories and you'll retain the information better. So it works this way on a whiteboard, or sometimes I put up big pieces of butcher's paper and draw on the butcher's paper. And I also do it digitally. In fact, most of the time I do it digitally. And as you can see, it's a mix of words and colours and symbols to try and just keep the information interesting and engaging and succinct. I think I've covered all that. Next. So yeah, I've just got a series of slides of actual graphic recording work that I've done. This was one for GHD, and they were thinking about the future of transport. So they sort of threw it out there. What do you want for the future? driverless cars, they're going to beam the baby to her grandma, like, so just outrageous stuff, you know. I guess like it's like the hamburger thing.
Yeah.
Put it out there. What are the solutions? They don't have to be real. Just like get your brain thinking and creating. So that one was done on paper. Next. This is a workshop that I did for the uni. This was actually done on an iPad. So I drew on the iPad and then they projected that onto a big screen so everybody could see it. Next. This was one that I did on butcher's paper. It was actually a live workshop where they were talking about getting ready for disasters. So I was employed by New South Wales, can't remember who they were, New South Wales government. And so they had heaps of people in the workshops, and then when they came out on their breaks, they would come and talk to me about what was important in the community. And then once I got all the sketches, I then scanned it and made it a digital file. So for clients that employ me, that's what I do. If I'm doing it on a whiteboard or doing it on paper, I'll take a photo of it and then I'll give it to them digitally so they can keep it. Next. This is another one that I did for the City of Newcastle. There was a bit of work, there was a fair bit of prep work that I had to do beforehand with all of the faces. You can't draw all those faces in 5 seconds. There are some things you can do in a very short space of time, and there's usually some preparation and some editing afterwards. Next. This is a really interesting application for live drawing. It's called, this is actually a system that they call path planning, and it's person-centred planning for people with disabilities. So you have this structure over here, which is what that person dreams of for their life. And then these are the goals, possible and positive goals. And then you work backwards with this arrow. So you look at where you are now, you look at who you're going to enrol to help you, what are the first steps. And this is in a situation where there's a facilitator asking all the questions, and there's the person with the disability, and all of their support workers and team members around. So it's a really engaging way of capturing the main stuff for this person, and then they get to keep it. You can take a photo and print it out, or the last time I did it was actually on my iPad, and so I was able to give them a print-ready file, and they could take it to Officeworks and get it a really long one printed.
Had any queries at all? Yes.
What were you hoping out today? Why are you giving this presentation today?
In the hopes that business and government will harness their own creativity, but also to consider creatives in our community who can work to a brief with the team and hire them and bring them in to project development, strategy development, all manner of things that are possible.
So your target audience for this were business and government?
Yes. Creativity in business. So that was what this was about. Because there's been a lot of talk about innovation, and it becomes a bit of a wah-wah word that doesn't have very much meat to it, and that the people that we work with, like Alex and Kathy, actually are experts in coming in and working with your team to inspire that true innovation, to make you truly innovative. And that does require breaking your brain out of the box and getting lateral, getting imaginative. And it does actually break down a lot of barriers, and it's something that is incredibly valuable. And in fact, I think it is a pivotal survival tool at the minute for business and government. Any other questions at all?
Do you find much resistance in business to working with artists? Do you sort of find you're sort of too busy to do anything new, kind of?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the problem. You know, people are feeling either too busy, too involved in their own pressures to actually see the potential of bringing in a specific kind of creative to change what they do and to be truly innovative. So this talk was about that, and this is why we're recording it, because not anyone's going to come at 11 o'clock on a Sunday to hear this, but we really want to make sure that this message goes out into the world. And not just Hunter, but beyond, you know. It's really important for people to change their brains around artists and how they contribute to society and to business.
I work in a government organisation, and I can say from experience that getting away from the old way of doing things, it's sometimes difficult. There is a new generation coming through now in the workplace we're feeling. Unfortunately, the baby boomers are at that age where they're retiring, and they're not to say that they didn't bring their own skills and knowledge into the place, but probably the way things used to be done. It's just, yeah, you get stuck in that same rut, and so you're thinking outside the box a bit, and it's happening. Like, I feel like that's happening in my workplace. There's a lot of change, and it rattles people because you're in your comfort zone. It's like, oh, change, especially in government. Yeah, that's the way it is. But I think it's just human nature as well. We like being comfortable.
I think there's a massive amount of questionnaires out there that, you know, business and government are wanting people to fill out questionnaires, or they'll be following them around with clipboards. And I think this is one great example. When we were doing the Dungog Cultural Shire project to develop their strategic plan, again, you know, they wanted to know what community wanted, and so. And this was during COVID as well, so we couldn't even do any on-the-ground creative workshops to get that information out. But what we did instead, and again, this is thinking out, you know, doing the imaginative, well, what do we do now? How do we change gears? Is that we held a fat texter competition, which is basically the idea of all you need is a big black texter to do a drawing of whatever you love about Dungog Shire, and then you just take a photo of it and then text it to us. And if you have also done the questionnaire, you go into the draw to win $100, you know, for we're not going to actually judge the drawings, we just wanted to give somebody an opportunity to have their image out there to get into the draw for $100. It was amazing how many applications we had from both children and adults. And through that process also, we legally we're able to use those graphic images in the document itself for the strategic plan when it comes out. It can also be used in other government documents as well. So there are beautiful images by community expressing what they love about their home and where they work, and they are part of their local government as well, and their voice is being heard not just by data but by creative expression. And so there's so many great spin-offs to getting people to do a simple drawing with a black texter. We did something similar with the public art projects at Wyong Hospital, where there were very simple printing workshops where you've got a little board. It's sort of a bit like balsa wood, which you can draw into, and within a matter of seconds you've got a drawing on a plate, which then you can roll some ink on, whack it onto a piece of paper, and hey presto, you've got an image. So what we've done with that is we did workshops with kids after school care, really tiny tots, to elders. We had an Aboriginal elders workshop. We had the staff from the hospital come in and do these printing. Whatever it is that you love about Wyong, that's what we asked for, that they did these incredible images. And we did youth, Aboriginal youth as well. It was incredibly powerful. So what happened after that was we had teamed up with some printmakers of the region as well, professional artists, and they incorporated at least 5 from each workshop, 5 images, into a total artwork, and that print was then framed and hung in waiting spaces. And everyone loved it, and it became shortlisted for a New South Wales Premier's Award in community engagement. So there are very simple things that excite people about the project that you're working in, that they actually have a part to play in this. And it's just been such an amazing process with Creative Ingredient and getting creatives involved in doing incredible projects with community. So there's that's just a little nugget of some of the things that we've done. That is beyond just a simple questionnaire. Margot?
I'm just wondering, you know, if you go up to a person and say, we offer this service, and, you know, and like you said, like if they're resistant, but then you end up working with them, do you have an opportunity afterwards to sort of get, like, feedback or debrief, where they give you feedback or talk about how they saw that creativity was an essential part of the process?
Yeah, by the client or by the community? By the client, yes. There's been great feedback.
Yes.
So, yeah, agreed. That's really important to get the word out there, that if our clients have enjoyed it and were ecstatic with it.
So what kind of feedback do you remember getting?
Well, I mean, with the Wyong Hospital one, they were just so delighted to be listed for the New South Wales Premier Award, that it set the world to them. I'm not that bent on awards myself in creativity, but it means a lot to the client to have that prestige, and so that was important. They were delighted at the Dungog Shire that we managed to navigate COVID and get the strategic plan done as effectively as we did through a creative process, and again, yeah, delighted. So thank you for that as a reminder, because it's really important to have those testimonials up. Agreed. Yes?
Okay, so what results do you... what results do you find when relieving the pains being targeted by your creative teams?
Can you say that again?
What results?
What results?
Do you find when relieving pains being targeted by your creative teams?
Relieving pains?
Like business pains.
Oh.
Like...
What kind of pains?
Points, like pain points in the business.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Helping with pain points in the business, what results?
What were results? Did you find that with your workshops?
I'm actually thinking of more with my examples of when I've been in my job, and where we've had team conflict and people haven't got along with each other, and then we've had, so this is not to do with my brainwave stuff, but we've had the dress up thing, and we had a career expo, you know, display where we had to all participate and contribute to that display. And the team dynamics and the sort of relationships that improve just from doing that.
Yeah.
I
think one of those, you know, it seems so, with Cherie Johnson, with her cultural training, she also does like weaving workshops as part of that process. But what is interesting is the conversations that happen as people are doing something creative with their hands. And I found this too a lot of the time. I worked a lot in Darwin before coming to the Hunter, doing creative workshops with anyone in, whether it be in corrections, in corporate events, extraordinary dysfunction in government departments. If we come in and do something creative with your hands, that's pretty simple, that no one feels really embarrassed about, that it could be openly done. It's those conversations that happen while you're doing that. It's a healing thing, and it relates to Benji's drumming as well. There's something about the physicalness of creating something that does shift those pain points. That's really powerful. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, I think, and I think in workplaces there's process pain points, like how do we do something better, but the biggest problem in workplaces is people. Like, you know, I think that's pretty obvious. So there's nothing better than creativity with healing all those emotions and relationships.
Yeah, Nat?
I was just thinking though, I love all this, but I'm really not a visual person, so, and you're talking a lot about imagery and stuff like that. So you put a texture in my hand, I'm shutting down. So, you know, if you ask me what I love about Dungog, I would literally just hold the texture and then produce nothing. So that actually creates a barrier for me. So how do you deal with situations where, you know, the thing that you're trying to do actually creates a barrier for someone like me?
Oh, fair call. And that's where, like, Benji's drumming comes in so beautifully. I know that Helen Hopcroft has a crew of creatives that are amazing musicians that can also do things that are also theatre-based as well. So we have that amazing, you're right, we did focus a lot on the visual, but there are all manner of, I think theatre and music is something that's really underutilised, and it's something that we're trying to promote as well, because not everyone is visual.
And I think in a group situation where there's an activity that everyone's involved with, everyone finds their roles. So yeah, not everyone's visual, but they contribute in a different way. So there's, I think, with a lot of these exercises, yeah, you know, because I actually, as I got in touch with someone who had thyroid cancer, because I actually had thyroid cancer, and she said to me she can't imagine in her mind, she can't use her imagination, she's got a blockage in her brain. And so she was asking me, oh, I won't be able to think of, if I buy your book, I won't be able to think of things out of my imagination. I said, no, it's all right. You can use resource, you can use reference materials. There's other ways of being creative. You don't just have to use your imagination. You don't just have to draw.
Yeah.
There's so many other things you can do.
Absolutely. And I think it's, yeah, that this idea of role-playing and things like that, that can be quite fun in teams. Is used quite a bit, but it's got to be done well, and you don't want to feel like an idiot, and you don't want to feel like you're going back to school. And so it's about kind of adults getting together, doing some really cool stuff that does make everyone laugh and, you know, and connect, and to think, yeah, I can be creative, you know, even someone who doesn't feel that they can. There are amazing ways in which you can lever that out of them in ways that are truly enjoyable, but also to get that communication happening really well as well. So communication is really important in amongst all of this, isn't it? Message making and connection. I think that might be a wrap. Has anyone else got any questions? No? Just have a little moment to look at Alex's
You can take your drawings home, but if you can just leave the clipboard and pen, that'd be appreciated.
I already did the heading before I arrived, just to, it's always a little bit less overwhelming when you've already got something up. It's like starting with a blank piece of paper can be terrifying. Yeah, so I started with the heading and the three of us, and you have to be, with this tiny little whiteboard, you have to be very careful not to sort of get too excited and start filling up the bit. So actually this time, usually I would really run out of room, but this time I got here and thought, oh, Megan's already done. I've got all this room. That's exciting. So, yeah, the heading is it's about business and government. I tried to capture the three main points about what Megan said about creativity, which is it's good for innovative thinking, communication, and it brings your team together. But the question is, for most people, how? So Megan pointed out that we're very pragmatic artists. So give us a go. Check out our website, explore it. And it's the creative directory. We have so many experts. We've done so many projects. And then Kathy talked about creativity again, and it's about using your imagination. It's inspiring. You can get your inspiration from many places like Netflix. Can't remember, other ones. Movies, there you go.
TV shows.
And then you also talked about how it's contagious and it's good for problem solving, and it makes people want to work in a business where they have creativity. So some of the ways that you can be creative, you can read Brainwave. It's got many different exercises in it to get creative. And you can brainstorm, and you can... so this example was the brainstorming of the burger. Somebody's got a big mouth. They can just fit the whole thing in their mouth. There you are, that's you. And then we talked about drawing with your non-dominant hand. This is hard. Who cares? No one will know. It's in your head. Yeah, so then just some basic stuff. You know, it's like getting creative can be being like a child again. It empowers you, clients are delighted. But I'm not visual. Well, I've only had room to put role play, but I'm sure there are other things that you can do. That's it.
Okay, if you would like to have a chat with us, we're here at creativeingredient.com.au. Our email is hello@creativeingredient.com.au. thank you so much for your time, coming on a 33-degree day at 11 o'clock in Maitland. You guys rock. I really appreciate hearing anything that you've got going in terms of that, in the way we can help, but also in your own creativity as well. Thank you so much. Oh.